Yeah, boy.
All right, so we're gonna name the blunder in the room, aren't we? Are we gonna confess it?
We are now.
All right, guys, listeners, viewers, here's the skinny.
Here it is.
We just recorded this podcast already,
We did.
and it
And it was good.
and it was awesome, and somehow it didn't record.
Yeah, well, it was me. Let's just face it.
Oh, why?
I got one big button to
Darren,
push.
I didn't know that for sure, so I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna say it.
Yeah, I appreciate
I
it.
didn't think that, but now you named it, so yeah, it's Darren's fault.
I got one big button that says REC record, and I just pushed that. And for some reason, I pushed it twice. and it shut
So
off.
everybody gets to hear the new and improved, refined version
Series overview.
series overview.
Yeah.
Now, like I said just a little bit ago, I'll say it again. Usually anytime, we do something consistently, it's always good to revisit why. We've done this for, was it four or five times?
This is number 4.
Number 4.
And it's always a good idea to revisit why. We
Yeah.
need to know why.
We need to know why. Why are we doing this? Why do we do it? Why are you the way that you are? No, it's just good to revisit the why we do things, so it's not just, well, we do it because we do it.
You bet.
And so just wanted to touch on why we have these kind of bonus episodes where we do a series overview. One, because we want people to know the series that are coming up and you can get excited and invite people and things like that. But also, it's kind of a unveiling, moving of the curtain, giving people a little bit of a peek behind the scenes of,
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah.
I'm getting a peek right now.
right now. That because something we've joked about and talked about is we have a semi-regular meeting of our teaching pastors, myself,
Right.
and you, Van, Jonathan, people like that, people who speak on a regular basis.
Which is kind of like the Justice League.
It's kind of like the Justice League. It's a group of extraordinary people with special powers that we've called together for a specific
And
purpose.
who are you again?
Well, that's what we were talking about. I was like, okay, if we're the Justice League or the Avengers, who is who then?
I got dibs on Aquaman.
Okay, yeah.
But from the cartoon in the 70s, not like the modern Aquaman.
So no beard then?
No,
Okay.
no beard. No, he was clean shaven, blonde hair.
Do you have the harpoon for the hand?
No.
No,
He
both
was-
hands.
He just looks, normal guy, but he's got that weird sonar stuff called fish around.
Just got sweet rapport with fish.
That's exactly right.
That's how I've always
That's
thought
all
about you.
That's all I've ever wanted.
That's all I've ever thought of you. Is you just got a sweet rapport with oceanic life.
Now, who are you? Now, I said Superman
we
because
str-
he's in charge of Justice League.
We struggle with that because Superman is actually not the leader of the
He's
Justice
not
League.
in charge.
Batman is technically the leader of the Justice League because he's the world's greatest detective.
Oh.
Here's the problem though, I am not the world's greatest detective.
So you don't want to be Batman.
I don't think I should be Batman. But of course, it's usually who you want to be, you shouldn't be. I really want to be Superman.
Yeah,
I maybe have the hair for Superman.
you do. You
I
do.
don't know if I have the
You got the Clark Kent
the
personality.
physique. Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I don't know if I have the physique or strength to be maybe Clark Kent, but not. So maybe I should be Clark Kent,
Yeah.
not Superman.
I'll be Perry White.
Yeah. No, you need to be Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen. Run around the camera.
You're my sidekick.
Isn't he Hawkeye?
Well, yeah. Then we got into who. Okay,
Yeah.
if we're the Avengers, then who should we be? Because I'm like, well, I know like the leaders are kind of like
you
Iron.
said Jonathan's got to be the Hulk. So yeah, that's
Well, no. At first I said he's the Hulk because he's just a large American.
Yeah.
But then I thought, but he is thoroughly American, so I'm like,
he's
he's got to be Captain America.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just got that like good old
Yeah.
like
integrity.
American, through and
Yeah.
through integrity type of guy. He'd probably be.
And you can see him
Captain
throwing. You
America.
can see him throwing a shield.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see him saying, "I could do this all day."
But who's Van?
I was thinking about that, and because he's just like so good at building anything out of anything,
He's MacGyver.
I feel like, yeah, I mean that.
Is he on the
that
Super?
too.
Is he
No.
on the Avengers?
No, I feel like he should be Iron Man.
Iron Man. There
Because
you go.
Iron Man is probably the
Yeah.
oldest of all the
Tony
Avengers.
Stark.
So yeah, he's Tony Stark because he
That's right.
can whittle himself a suit out of beechwood.
Who's Hawkeye?
Probably me.
You're.
Because he doesn't.
So
He doesn't really matter. But then we were talking about. I don't know how to imitate Hawkeye, so then
Yeah.
somehow we made him a 13-year-old boy. So I'm like, oh, I'm Hawkeye.
You were. You were talking about the graphic that's going to come out for this thing. You saw it.
Yeah,
For
okay.
our series that
Yeah.
we're doing. What's the name of our series?
Oh yeah, we should probably talk. Sorry, I get off on that.
No, it's all right. 'Cause I think this is good.
We did this last time. We got off into Avengers and Justice League, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking about the series overview. Yeah, the series we're doing is called "Who Is This Guy?"
Yeah,
And I that was a strategically named series
right.
because, and I'll just give a quick snapshot of what the series is about, and then I'll talk about the graphic because that's really cool. There are multiple stories, teachings. We almost kind of discovered, because I think initially it was going to be a series on parables.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved a little
Yeah.
bit.
Because what we do, just to give people a little bit of a window into what we do, usually in the fall, mid to late fall, we just spend a lot of time as a group, all the teaching pastors and kind of key leaders, just praying and seeking after God, just trying to discern from the Spirit what the needs of the congregation are. And we kind of design an annual calendar, a preaching calendar, around those needs and just topics and things we feel like God wants us to speak from, books he feels like we feel like he's leading us to.
Right.
And anyway, this one was originally going to be a series in the summer where we were going to be looking at the parables of Jesus.
Right.
But in the midst of it, as we were talking about some of those parables, we realized, we picked up on this golden thread, and this is usually what happens is, we start talking about an idea and somehow we get focused in on a thing. And we realize, ooh, this thing touches multiple points, and then we realize, oh, God is in that. Like the Spirit is leading in that. And we often develop a series around that golden thread. And so that kind of happened with this series where we realized, man, there are sometimes things that Jesus says or does that instigates this feeling of like wonder or astonishment
Yeah.
or offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where people are shocked, either for good or for bad, and they ask the question, who is this guy? I mean, it says in different versions of like, who is this man that he can do this
Who
or
is this
that?
guy?
But it's like, yeah, that's kind of the mentality of like when you're like, who is this guy? Like
Or
you may say
yeah.
in wonder of like, oh my gosh, who is this guy that he would say something so amazing or heal this person or whatever, and then sometimes it's angry like, who's this guy that he thinks he can?
Who do you think he is?
Who does he think he is? Jerk. Anyway, but then we realized, man, there's a bunch of stories in the scriptures of Jesus doing that. And each time Jesus would do or say something like that, even though it kind of evoked astonishment or offense in people, it also taught us something about who he was.
Yeah.
That he was revealing something about us. And that's why it usually shocked us, is because we in the darkened condition of our hearts, we don't know what God is really like.
Mm-hmm.
We think we do. We create religions around it. We create spiritualities around it. But at the end of the day, it's idols. It's man-made religion. And we don't know what God is really like. But Jesus reveals to us what God is really like.
Now, to sum it up, what is the big long word you'd like to share with everybody?
It reveals something to us Christologically.
Yeah, there's so many syllables there.
It's a good theological word. Learn it, use it, impress your friends.
But yeah, so who is this guy? We've been in the book of Mark quite a bit
Yeah.
of my Bible study. Excuse me. The Bible study I'm in with a bunch of guys, and
Yeah.
it's been so cool. Mark, it almost kind of has that theme, of like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And he uses the word,
He's down to 2 packs a day. I'm proud of him.
Oh my. Sure sounds like it. I never have this problem. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oxygen, please. Anyway, I was going to say, when he constantly uses the words like amazed, astonished. Well, one text I'm reading right now, he uses a phrase he hadn't used yet, which is astonished beyond measure.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Beyond measure. So you hear that often in the Gospels, that who is this guy? In a positive sense. Like you said, there's also an offensive sense, but in that sense.
Yeah. And so an example of a text like that, which, I mean, this isn't necessarily going to be one that we cover in the series. I don't want to give any of those away because we want to leave a little bit of mystery in the box, is the story, and I think it's John 6, where Jesus feeds the 5,000. And immediately after he begins to teach, and he says, this bread that has come down from heaven, he's like invoking the Exodus story of the manna, the bread from heaven being given every day as they wandered in the desert for 40 years. And he said, this bread that has come down from heaven, I am that bread of life. And if that's not astonishing, a claim in and of itself, toward the end of the teaching, he says, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you.
And that's a point where everybody's like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
How dare he say that?
And it even specifically said many of them ceased following Jesus from that day forward. And man, I love the aftermath of that. And this is a little bit of a side point, but still, it's just, man, it's such a beautiful moment where Jesus asks his disciples, because he sees all these people have left after he said a very hard thing and got the who is this guy kind of response. And he says, are you going to leave me too? Mm. And then Peter's response where he says, where would we go? Mm. You have the words of life. And it's funny because I feel like I've invoked that phrase in my own relationship with God multiple times where, it's just part of the spiritual life. Your spiritual passion, motivation ebbs and flows at times, and at times when I maybe didn't really feel like following Jesus, in that moment of like, am I really going to walk away? And I found myself asking the question, where else would I go? Like, he has the words of life. This is the only place I found life. Where else would I go?
I use that a lot with people who are struggling, with doubting their faith for a while.
Yeah.
My question is, where else are you gonna go?
Yeah.
That's a really solid
question. That's a really good question.
Yeah. Because yeah, exactly right.
But anyway, that's one of those examples, one of those stories that it evoked a response, good in some, bad in others, of like, who is this guy that he would say, eat my flesh, drink my blood? That's like a vampire cult or, or something like that. And so many cease to walk. And so, but yeah, over the course of the series, we're going to be looking at various stories that evoked responses like that. And then we'll grab that and kind of apply that to our own lives of like, what does this mean for us? Like, who is this guy? And how does that connect to our lives?
I think what I think is so cool about it too, with this series is I think about the fact that when we're going to kind of hopefully and prayerfully, as you said, ask ourselves the question, because I think a lot of people don't mean to necessarily, but I think a lot of people tend to get kind of a false view of who Jesus is. They stereotype him. Maybe he's like the superhero.
Yeah.
He's the Justice
Hawkeye.
League. He's Hawkeye. But seriously though, I think a lot of people, I think the cool thing I'm hoping might happen that the more we read the Gospels together, the more some of this, really starts to shape Christologically our view, that we might actually get a really good grounded idea of who he really is and why he came and who God is and through Jesus. I think sometimes we just don't get it. We're like the disciples. Sometimes we're like the people that quit following when we hear a hard teaching. If you really know who he is, then you're going to be more like Peter than you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
People that left.
So yeah, this is a series. It starts this next Sunday, June 12th. It's going to go all the way through July 17th.
6 weeks.
6-week series. There's more than 6 stories, but these are the 6 ones that we felt like were most poignant and kind of led us in the direction we wanted to go. And so, man, I encourage everyone watching, everyone listening, make sure to show up for every week of the series. Invite friends, invite family. I feel like it's going to be a cool unpacking of who Jesus is.
Yeah, and if you miss you're on vacation or something, get online and watch.
Check out Church at Home. We have the service online.
Keep it up, because I think the more we get into the Gospels, like I said, together, it's going to pay off. It's good stuff. So
yeah. So hey, thank you guys so much for joining us for the series overview. Hope you enjoy the series to come and you join us each week.
Thanks, PT.